Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Live at 5. If there's one thing this crew has learned during these past 10 months is that we don't have to make the news because the news has a way of making itself. And luckily for us, the era of fake news has come to a quick, chaotic, but we're grateful for it close.
Yes.
But let's talk about some real change that's happening in Graham, North Carolina. The people of Graham, they are just so resilient. And they are occupying the streets of Graham every single day until they get the change that they've been looking for. We were actually out there with them on Monday celebrating the late Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right. And you know what? One of the things I really appreciate is there's so much diversity that we see out there. It's not just one color, one creed, one age, one generation. But there's so many different people, and I really feel like that speaks to the life and the legacy of Dr. King. Right. And yeah, go ahead.
I think another big thing is that the fact that they're out there protesting in the cold. You know, it's past the George Floyd summer type situation, and now it's wintertime. And at the end of the day, if you're willing to protest or stand for what you believe in outside of when it's comfortable, then it means you really believe in it.
Yeah, we definitely want to make sure that we keep uplifting the life and the legacy of Dr. King.
Yes.
So J4TNG was out there, and I know that we are really walking in the footsteps of Dr. King. So Monday was a day on and not a day off. It's always a day of service when we have Martin Luther King Day. So I was grateful that our organization was represented, and I know Reverend Drumwright had some words out there as well. So leadership has been a huge thing in this week, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. It's definitely been a big topic, something that let's get into it with these leadership conversations, the changes in leadership. So much has happened this week. So I know we're still kind of in the throes of this impeachment process.
Oh my gosh.
And
oh Lord.
Yeah, we're over the hump of inauguration, but this impeachment process, we're in the middle of that, and I know that our crew has kind of been doing some dibbling and dabbling and some research to get a better understanding of what is really happening. So, I mean, what are y'all's thoughts on this impeachment process? What's going on?
Well, I mean, it's just such a messy situation.
Yeah.
Honestly, like an impeachment after the president has already left the White House. So, things are just heating up and he's gone. And this is just really messy. Like, you get impeached twice during your presidency? Two times. So, at first, what I was hearing was Mitch McConnell wants to push it back and we're not just going to have it at all. But Nancy Pelosi said we serving papers on Monday. So, it's about to happen. Like, this is not something that the American people are just going to allow to pass us by. So, that's just that on that.
So, I mean, we can see Nancy Pelosi here. She is the House Speaker, and her job is to be able to really serve these papers and say, hey, we're ready for this process to really get started. And I know that, we have some, not political analysts, but we do our research to be able to get a better understanding of exactly where we are in this process. So, I'm going to toss it to, she's behind the camera, but we're going to toss it.
Well, Chuck Schumer announced the other day that they're not going to do the impeachment trials just yet.
Oh.
Because he wants to wait until after they confirm Biden's cabinet. Because the Senate has to do both processes. The Senate has to confirm the presidential cabinet, and the Senate has to do the impeachment trials according to the Constitution of the United States. And so they're going to actually impeach him according to the 14th Amendment. It's like one of the least known parts of the 14th Amendment, because when we think about this, it's usually due process. But this time they're using the part of the 14th Amendment that talks about insurrection. That literally says a leader cannot incite insurrection. And so we're going to wait and see what this looks like.
So, T. Thomas, you definitely got to help us understand, what this means in terms of this confirmation process, right? So, we know that Mitch McConnell was the majority leader before, and now the Republican Party is kind of getting a different sense and a different understanding of what it is to be a minority. Because something happened on the 20th of January, our wonderful inauguration, and what I feel like is happening, initially I was thinking that they were just trying to push back the impeachment process just to give time for Trump's lawyers and his legal advisors to be able to come up with why he didn't incite an insurrection. Yeah. But we also know now that this 2-week time frame is going to allow for President Biden's cabinet to be confirmed. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, Senator Warnock, we definitely can't have this conversation without bringing him in. Definitely. So though he's not a part of the cabinet, he is a part of the Senate, and he was one of the people that won in Georgia. So it was him and now Senator Ossoff, and so they were actually confirmed just one day before the inauguration. So they haven't been sworn in just yet, but they definitely have been confirmed.
And, Senator Warnock, he's making a lot of strides even after his win. Just inspiring, people of all races, but specifically, African American brothers and sisters to keep pushing and pressing. Specifically, our dear brother Sharif Morgan, who is from his neighborhood in Georgia, he quoted and said, "This shows that it doesn't matter where you're from; it only depends on where you're going." Like I said, they're both from Clayton Homes. They grew up in the same neighborhood, and it just goes to show that no matter where you're from, you can inspire the people behind you to come forth and do great things. And he's just standing up and being an example for everybody. And another controversial point, Mr. Warnock, he has overwhelming support from the WNBA. Even as far as the players in Seattle have made shirts just supporting him. And we've never seen this kind of support from any WNBA team just for a person running for Senate. You all remember how huge this race was, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Huge. We were fighting for a race that we couldn't even vote in, in a whole nother state. And it's crazy because the Atlanta Dream players are owned by Warnock's opponent, Miss Kelly Loeffler. And she actually tore down Black Lives Matter's activists during this process and said, she aligns with Donald Trump's views on protesters and just tried to tear them down. So it's amazing to see how the players from her own team were not supporting her, but were supporting the candidate. And this just goes to show, what's good is good and what's right is right, and you got to stand by what's right.
Exactly. And that's just so real. The Warnock, what happened there in Georgia was seriously monumental, and I feel like we didn't really get a chance to just behold the moment because next thing you know, we got people climbing walls at the Capitol. Right. So it's like we couldn't even celebrate him the way that we should because of all the drama in DC. So, there's been a shift, you guys. There's been such a shift in the atmosphere because Donald Trump has left the White House. And he left the White House making history. Definitely a historical figure. Yeah. The first to be impeached. We talked about that twice. As well as the first president not to attend the inauguration. We've never seen something like that happen in history. You don't go to the inauguration. Instead, he had a send-off of his own. And, how did that feel to y'all? I was still praising God because, praise the Lord.
So,
but
for me, to be honest, it's like when Elijah was just talking about his leadership, Warnock's leadership, it kind of speaks to just the leadership period on how our president is. You know what I'm saying? So, if there are people that are following our president that are actually, following him the wrong way, what happens to the generations after that? You know what I'm saying? After him. Can all leaders just quit just because they didn't win? You know what I mean? So I feel like, he went out wrong. Other than just the inauguration, I know the first ladies, they didn't do the tea together. I know he didn't ride in the presidential, the fleet. It was a few things that he wasn't able to do. Yeah. Or he wasn't able to do. He chose not to do because he was able. Right.
And the one thing he did do was write a letter to Biden going out. And he wrote the letter because he was really amazed and he was really fascinated with the letter that Obama left him. So we do see Trump keeping that one tradition. But other than that, he left at 8 a.m. And you know, he was on his flight to Florida.
Right.
Saying that he'll be back soon.
Saying that he'll be back soon.
He'll be back, you know.
We don't really know what was in the letter either.
We don't
he
know.
Said it was a generous letter. Biden said it was a generous letter. I mean, based upon Trump's character so far,
yeah,
I don't really know what generous means.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm glad that it speaks to like how Biden is still kosher. You know what I'm saying? He's very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna talk about it until I talk to Trump.
Right.
About it. You know what I mean? So. I don't know, y'all. I'm personally glad he's out of office.
Yeah.
Me too. That was just like such a beautiful moment in history. So one of the things that Trump did as he left office in his final hours was hand out these pardons. And these pardons are, you know, becoming very controversial. You know, some of the people got pardons that we may know. We may listen to their music. We may jam to it. Like Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. And some of our community don't really blame Lil Wayne or Kodak for aligning themselves with President Trump. Let's roll the tape.
Y'all got to face the judge now. Y'all should have got in on that train earlier. Y'all
like Lil Wayne.
Yes.
And Kodak.
I'm not mad at Wayne.
Wait, you're not mad at him?
No, I don't judge people for what they do when they're just trying to survive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I think it's very easy to say what you wouldn't do in that situation. But Lil Wayne is a multimillionaire. He's got 5 kids. He's been in jail before. He's facing 10 years. This is his second gun charge. Like, come on.
Okay.
And by the way, he didn't do anything criminal.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't
He
criminal.
didn't do anything. He did something you don't like.
I'll be
What
honest
is
with you.
that?
I don't
What
think
is
we need to
Endorse
judge.
Trump.
We don't need to judge him for Trump. We need
Right.
to judge him from the Black Lives Matter. Like, I don't have issues like that. I cannot stand when black
Well,
people.
white people keep bailing
on
his
their
ass
pedestal.
It just,
What do you mean?
Trump just got him out of jail.
Oh, right. I'm
The
saying
other white
like,
man saved his life. I mean, if I'm Wheezy, I'm like, yo, these white people kind of lit.
when he
Every
said
time
that-
I'm f***ed up, they
But,
just
but
come
that's
to my
his,
rescue.
but that was his mentality. He said that. His reasoning was when he does his shows and he looks in the crowd, it's mad white people coming to see him. You know what I'm saying?
well, how much
Yeah.
are his tickets?
Say what?
I'm sure we would see the same about like J. Cole or Kendrick
Every
Lamar.
rapper.
You're gonna tell me that like these white people that are paying is $350, $400, $500? Like, come on.
I'm not mad at the way he sees the world. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's realistic, but that's his experience.
Yo,
You know
What's
what I
Kodak?
mean?
What's Kodak's experience?
Kodak's smart too. Listen, all of
trying
these
to get
guys
out.
did what they're supposed to do. You work with the person who's in power to get something done.
Yeah.
Kodak petitioned to get released by the President of the United States of America to get a pardon, and it worked.
Like, first of all, okay, all of this grandstanding and all of this posing with Lil Wayne, you know, one of the things that kind of had me a little hot and bothered before was like the black conservative vote and the things that Trump was doing to get black America's attention, getting black entertainers. So now you give, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm upset that he pardoned Lil Wayne, but it's kind of like, what was his real agenda behind that? We know that he's leaving office saying, I'm coming back.
Right.
So is he still trying to keep black America's attention by pardoning Kodak Black and also by pardoning Lil Wayne? I'm just saying.
I mean, you know, people who operate under a bias or operate, you know, with racist values, you know, white supremacists, you know, they try to keep black people or a black person, you know, in front of them or next to them, you know, to try to keep, like you said, keep black America or black and brown people's attention. So that's all it is. That's really all the agenda, because we know what he's about. We know his views. We know, like, he doesn't rock with us like that.
Right.
At all.
Well, I mean, you see it on both sides all the time. Like, anytime there's an election, you see both parties always trying to court the black vote. Like, you remember when Hillary was up for election, she came to A&T.
Right.
She came to the pep rally, and she started Millie rocking. We was like, Hillary? She did. Like, she was the guest.
Right,
You know, they're always trying to do something to get the black vote. But I think Trump in this moment, he tried to go above and beyond, try to let Lil Wayne know, look, if you rock with me, I'm gonna get you off the charges, which he did, but you know, his efforts were short-lived.
I feel like the thing about it is like that the black community is struggling with is not so much even the Donald Trump part of this. It's the Lil Wayne and the Kodak alliance with Donald Trump, because they have so much influence, and you know what they do matters. So you know you align yourself with this guy, and other people will do the same thing. So it's kind of like you misled people in your endeavors to get your freedom. I mean, I want to be free too, so I understand, but still, like, that's the problem that the black community has with that. And excuse the cuss word that was in that video. Excuse it.
Yeah, let's not forget about, like the Kanyes and the Steve
Harveys,
all those black pastors that went to the White House. Like, like what's up with our people, man?
Yeah.
What they going through?
Not what they call it. That's what he said. What they going through?
What they going through? Maybe we can help.
But there's kind of this comparison between Trump's last days and Biden's first days. President Biden, our new president. He has hit the ground running.
He has,
and I know I'm interested to see what these first 100 days will bring. And there's just so much. There's such a difference in those first days. I know he's already stopped the progress of the wall.
Yes.
He's already lifted some bans.
Definitely.
What else is there to that?
I mean, within the first hours of his presidency, there's already 30 executive orders that he's working on to get them out the way. So just kind of undoing what the Trump administration did. So like you said, the Muslim ban, that's being eradicated. There were people during the pandemic who really didn't have enough access to food. So some people are getting more benefits from that. We want to really end this coronavirus thing. So he's making a lot of moves with all of this stuff. Yeah. And we love to see it. And we just can't wait to see like more coming from him. And another thing is, I don't know if you guys know, but the minimum wage in some states is $7.25.
Still $7.25.
So he's laying the foundation to raise the minimum wage to $15. And that's really big, because that can bring a lot of people out of poverty and put them in a more livable space. And I feel like the American people deserve that.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
But you can't forget about those stimulus checks as well.
Okay, now.
Stimulus checks.
And you know what? This really goes back to like the importance of of Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Like, and winning those, first off, winning the seats. So from Warnock and Ossoff winning those seats in Georgia, that made the House 50-50. So then Kamala Harris, our new vice president, has that deciding vote. So because she has that deciding vote, I mean, that really gives us an opportunity to really get these stimulus checks. And I know that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't know about y'all.
I need to be stimulated.
But you said
I need to be stimulated.
Another thing was like the evictions, because some people were getting their 30-day notices.
Yes.
So that's been extended. Student loans have been extended. So it's a blessing for the American people, because $600 was really a slap in the face. It was an entire joke. So we're looking to undo that with this administration.
Hey, if you don't want yours, I take it.
Okay. I'm trying to tell you.
No, it's already gone.
You said it's spoken for.
But no, okay, so we are celebrating our new president and vice president, but we got to get into some of these inauguration highlights.
Yes.
I know that, well, first of all, like, all together, when I went back to work on Thursday, it really felt lighter.
Yeah.
And it really speaks to a lot of oppression that we felt before. And now just being able to get over that hurdle of the inauguration, things kind of really being official. I know like I said, I went to work and it felt lighter. Just being able to talk to people, it seemed like there was so much more joy.
Yeah.
And then the inauguration ceremony was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. We had performances by Lady Gaga, who was donning an amazing ensemble, as well as Jennifer Lopez, better known as J-Lo.
Okay.
And then I have been infatuated, like so many other people, by Amanda Gorman and her poetic piece, The Hill We Climb.
Yes.
And she even has spoken to the fact that she was inspired to finish the poem. She was moving in one direction with the poem, and then she kind of, after the insurrection happened, she moved in a totally different direction to be able to include this piece. And if you take a look at your screen right now, like, you see this ring on her hand, and if y'all can just hold that. Matter of fact, go back to the one before that. Like, if you take a look at that ring
beautiful.
that's on her right hand, you'll see that there's actually a bird inside of there. It's a caged bird.
That's beautiful.
And isn't it beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
And guess who she got it from?
Tell us.
Okay, so
guess.
Oprah Winfrey. Let me tell y'all this tea real quick. So Oprah Winfrey provided her with those earrings that she had on, as well as this ring, the caged bird, and that is an ode. That ring was an ode to Maya Angelou, who back in 1993, when Bill Clinton was coming into office, his second term, Oprah Winfrey provided Maya Angelou with a coat and with some other garments for her poem that she was gonna do. So this is like this collaboration, this camaraderie of sisterhood.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, see, we can't talk about things at inauguration and forget about this good brother, Eugene Goodman.
Yes, talk about Eugene.
Eugene Goodman, if you all don't know, he was the lone Capitol Police officer who did his job in diverting the rioters from the actual Congressional Hall so that they would not get hostages that day. And see, people thought that he was running away in fear, but he actually wasn't. So because of his heroics, he actually got a really good promotion. So now he is the acting sergeant in arms, and he even escorted our new vice president, Kamala Harris, on inauguration day.
Yes.
But when I dug a little deeper, I realized that Eugene Goodman wasn't the first Black African-American person in history to do something of heroics, but sadly throughout history a lot of these Black people get forgotten about. For example, there was a Black security guard named Frank Willis. Frank Willis in 1972 was actually responsible for helping prevent the Watergate scandal from going as deep as it did. But everyone forgot about him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone else who was involved in it, even people who were conspiring in that time, everyone else got recognition. People went on to write books and things like that. And this brother got forgotten about. He had to hop from job to job. Like, no one gave him any recognition. Even 25 years later, when they celebrated the anniversary, they still didn't recognize this brother. And he played a major role in actually preventing that from going even deeper than it did. And, this happens throughout history all the time. Even if you go in a little bit later in 2017, we have Crystal Griner and David Bailey. They were both assistants to protect Steve Scalise, who was the Republican House Whip at that time, protecting him. And yet and still they got recognized, but very briefly. So this just speaks to how Black people are always stepping up in times of heroism, but not getting recognized. And yet and still people stand on our shoulders of our good work. So, we definitely have to recognize these things.
Absolutely. And, okay, so speaking of people that have been forgotten, do y'all know Charlotta Bass?
Man, yeah,
Everybody know who Charlotta Bass is?
Charlotta Bass, talk to us.
Okay, so in 1953, she actually was the vice presidential candidate for the Progressive Party.
Okay.
So the interesting thing is, so you spoke about Eugene, or Officer Eugene, him covering Kamala Harris. And if you realize, she was wearing this beautiful purple ensemble.
Yes.
And she was also supported in that by Hillary Clinton, by Michelle Obama, absolutely, and Laura Bush. They all came in donning this purple, which was an ode to Shirley Chisholm, who also ran for president. And so Kamala Harris has a lot in common with Charlotta Bass and Shirley Chisholm. So Kamala's wearing, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Vice President.
You gotta put some respect on
on that name.
Okay, and I also want to tell everybody, it's Kamala. Some people say Kamala, but she has corrected people, it's Kamala.
That's right.
So Vice President Kamala Harris, she was donning this purple ensemble as an ode to Shirley Chisholm. But then also, as you kind of get informed, you'll realize that Charlotta Bass also ran for vice president at one point in time. So there's a lot of history that is kind of covered up that we don't really know a whole lot about. So that was 1972 for Shirley Chisholm, and then 1953 for Charlotta Bass.
Yeah, and I really appreciate them just wearing the colors, because I had no idea that a woman had ran for president, let alone a Black woman.
Come on.
So it's like, that just brings us to the fact that we really are the hope and the dreams of people that came before us, because never in a million years will we think that this moment will really be happening the way that it's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that speaks to this sisterhood camaraderie.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to let Chantel tell us about what's going on with this sisterhood camaraderie in politics these days.
So we have a new addition to the squad, Ms. Cori Bush. Okay. So she's actually the first Black congresswoman to represent the state of Missouri.
Yes.
She has several titles. So she was a pastor at Kingdom Embassy International. Mm-hmm. She's a RN, and now she's the first Black congresswoman for Missouri. And when we did a little digging on her, we found that her father was actually a mayor for Northwoods. So she had already said that she would never be an elected official. Right. But after the killing of Mike Brown in 2014, she realized she had to do something for her community. She actually did an interview where she said she went riding around the community and saw how chaotic her community was, and she said she had to do something. She said, well, I'm a pastor. Do I pray? I'm a nurse. Do I provide medical attention? And herself and the mental health clinic that she was working for at the time, they actually got together and set up on site of the crime. And they began offering mental health assistance at the crime scene.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, so she's been doing this work for quite some time, and that death is actually what got her started in pushing to represent Missouri.
That was her catalyst.
Yeah.
That was her
catalyst. My gosh.
I love the fact that she's an ordinary woman. A lot like AOC, who was a waitress before she came into her position. And speaking of AOC, okay, so you mentioned the squad. So Cori Bush is now the new addition to the squad, and one of the things that she put out a tweet saying, being a regular woman and coming into this new position, I have to get a whole new wardrobe. I mean, I would imagine as a nurse, she probably had scrubs and things, and of course she had ordinary clothes. But now that she's going to Capitol Hill, and now that she's going to be standing on the Senate floor,
it's a different look.
It's a different look.
Definitely.
So she has tweeted, and she's talked about just being transparent in this new thing in her life. So she said the reality of being a regular person going to the Congress, that it's really expensive to get the business clothes that I need for the Hill. So she said, I'm going thrifting tomorrow. But not only did she, I appreciate that as an average woman, as a regular woman, but the most beautiful thing about it was she was supported by the squad.
Yes.
The squad started reaching out saying, sis, we're going shopping with you. We had to do the same thing. We totally understand that you are a regular girl just like us. And so, you can kind of see their tweets and their support among sisters. And that's just a beautiful thing that we have that kind of unity in the United States during this time, especially in our political leadership.
Can I just say, though, even though we're calling her an ordinary woman, when she stepped on that Senate floor 2 weeks ago, there was nothing ordinary about her words or her comments she gave. She spoke with poise, she spoke with clarity, and she represented why she believed representing Missouri why Donald Trump had to go.
Oh, come on. We got a clip for that.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, St. Louis and I rise in support of the article of impeachment against Donald J. Trump. If we fail to remove a white supremacist president who incited a white supremacist insurrection, it's communities like Missouri's 1st District that suffer the most. The 117th Congress must understand that we have a mandate to legislate in defense of Black lives. The first step in that process is to root out white supremacy, starting with impeaching the white supremacist in chief. Thank you, and I yield back.
Well, you all, we could go on and on about the political drama, the highs and lows that Washington is experiencing. We could literally talk for days. However, we're not going to hold you that long, but we don't want you to go just yet. First, we want to invite you to join us on Sunday for our 3 p.m. worship service. We are talking about our yes. This is our year of yes. And if you want to say yes to the Lord, just stop by for a word. Stay tuned because we have something else waiting for you.
Oh, by the way, before we leave for announcements, we have this kind of trend around here at Live at 5. Even though the topics are serious, we can't leave you without something humorous. Exactly. So during inauguration this week, there was one particular person who wasn't too happy about the seat that he had. And now his picture is trending all over social media. My friend Bernie Sanders, y'all, you gotta check out these memes, okay? They are just playing Bernie, okay? I mean, look at this. What is he at? What is it a basketball game?
Bernie got his mitts on.
I'm telling you.
Go ahead with the mitts.
Come on, mitts. Come on, Blues Clues.
Finally, someone sitting in the couch.
I'm okay.
You know, nobody was ever sitting on that couch.
Never did. Steve always walked right by it. Game of Thrones, really?
Bernie said,
really?
I took my throne.
Look, okay. Keep it rolling. I mean, these are just hilarious. They
have gotten out of hand with these memes.
I'm telling Friday.
They are.
They say you ain't got no job, Bernie. So you might as well.
I'm telling you. Oh my gosh, not the J. Cole album.
They done brought him to NC.
Come on. Look at him, man.
Look
at him. Look, he over there. Was that Drake? Oh, is that Views? You gotta zoom in real close to take a look at him now. There he is. Look at him. Look, y'all can't forget this. This was from when Kamala and Mitch had their debate, and that flew on Mitch's hand.
I'm speaking.
Oh yeah, they put Bernie right up there. Mm-hmm. Yep, it was prophetic. Yes, it was right there. But Pence, excuse me. Yeah. What's it say? When you get invited to a meeting, but it should have been an email. Right. Oh my God!
Shout out to all the teachers.
All of them.
Got all these Zoom calls. It should have been an email. You wasted my time.
Period. Oh my goodness!
Okay,
look,
how did they get that vest on there?
I'm trying to tell you.
Whose vest did they steal?
Photoshopping is amazing. I'm telling you.
Let me see your receipt. Some of y'all trying to get out with that.
Not the baptism. Not the baptism. Not
how you say it?
Not take me to the water.
The water.
I'm sorry.
That was some good elevation worship right there.
That's a new praise and worship.
I'm telling you. Look, and you know what's so great? Bernie is such a good sport about these memes that not only has he seen them, but now, oh gosh, there's more. Oh no, we're not going to HBCUs.
DD4L.
Oh my, is Bernie a golden delight? Oh Lord.
Oh, he's on DD4L. Come on.
Is that the Wu-Tang Clan? Bernie.
Wu-Tang.
Bernie. Wu-Tang. Yeah.
But it is though.
Not Forrest Gump. Jenny.
It's like a box of
Jenny. I mean, we can keep going with these all day. Oh, Lord. This one took me out, too. Tyler Perry said, Medea's farewell tour, starring Bernie Sanders, y'all. Y'all wrong for this. You know, I mean, Bernie had to make an appearance. He had to.
Bernie is in there.
He had to. You know, Bernie, we stand with you, man. And, you know, since Bernie is such a good sport, not only has he seen the memes, but Bernie has decided to make sweatshirts with himself on the memes to give to local charities. So, you know,
get that coin.
Bernie, we rock with you, man. It's all love. We stand with Bernie.
Bernie by his chair.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, that wraps up.
I want to go back to Lil Wayne shouldn't have got that party.
Talk about it, Pastor.
Yeah.
I just don't think you should sell out your people to free yourself.
Right.
I don't think so either.
Did y'all hear that?
That's real because you have to think about how many other people are going to be enslaved behind it.
Sure will. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It would have been dope if, like, I don't know if this is a possibility, but it would have been dope if he could have said, you know, instead of just me getting a pardon, is there something else that you can do for the black community? Since you say you are the president that did the most for us, is there some other pardon that you can give that will do more for my people?
Right.
But, I mean, I'm with you on that. He sold it. He sold them out.
Mm-hmm. Lil Wayne should have sold them dreads he trying to hold on to. Okay, we gonna talk about it. We're not gonna talk about it.
We're not gonna talk about it.
Hey, they said 3 of his dreads are like a fish plate.
No bread.
No bread.
No coleslaw.
Just dry.
It's the last piece at the bottom of the grease.
The last piece.
I believe in love.
I do think he was wrong for that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed this conversation. I feel like there's so much more that we have to just stay up on.
Yeah.
And we want to thank you all for watching live at 5 today. And we hope to see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Don't you be late. Make sure you pull up on time. And you should be worshiping before the worship.
Amen. Responsible.
Responsible worship.
That's
Come on, please.
That's it.
Well, y'all have a good evening.
Yeah, I think we did it.
Pretty sold that show.